Hello, hello, welcome. Tap the screen, share the live. Hey, Leah. Okay, I talked to someone at Streamlabs. I've been having the YouTube and Twitch stream drop like twice this week, so I have troubleshooted Streamlabs and talked to someone there. So hopefully we do not have the same problems we've had like two or three times. Give me 1 second. Welcome. It's Friday. We made it. We spent a whole week together. Tap the screen, share the live. Everyone I know who streamed has been having issues with Streamlabs. Yeah, I think that's the impression I'm getting, because there's a Discord for Streamlabs for like, especially if you like pay them money, because I have like the Streamlabs Ultra because I'm lazy. Because I know I could do all this on OBS for free. So it seems like, yeah, that's been happening. Whatever is going on. Like, just streams are dropping. It's not, yeah, so hopefully this is just something they need to fix, or it's with their servers. I don't know. We shall see. Hi, welcome. So glad you're here. Tap the screen. And yeah, I'm going to try, if and when for something happens with YouTube or Twitch again, I'm going to just try to restart Streamlabs. But yeah, I just got frustrated yesterday when it dropped and I just didn't. So I apologize to people we lost. But if it happens for some reason and I can't restart it, I'm going to try. But if not, then just come over to TikTok, because something is definitely wrong with Streamlabs. Okay. Tap the screen, tap. Let's get to 50K as fast as possible. I have so many interesting things to talk about today. I feel like I need to do some deep breathing because some of it's kind of depressing. Oh, I forgot. Sandwich Guy. I was reading about Sandwich Guy being acquitted. We were cheering yesterday. People came into the chat, were like, Sandwich Guy was acquitted. So his name, I never knew what his name was. Sean Dunn. I was just reading that. I just want to read this because I think it's hilarious. Do you know that have you seen like at protests, people are now like, do you know who Banksy is? I love Banksy, like the British graffiti artist who like has hid his identity for his entire life and no one knows who he is. And he goes around like, just graffitiing images, like stenciled images on things all around the world. And his art sells for like millions. Well, they're using like a old Banksy photo, but putting like a sandwich in the guy's hand and like putting it everywhere, like on flags at protests. It's so awesome. So, what did I want to? I thought this was interesting because I had been reading, the minutes, like because the court is closed to cameras. It's not like you can watch. So there were court reporters in the Sandwich Guy's trial, like live tweeting it. And this is the part that I thought was interesting. I mean, it's no surprise that the Trump administration, the DOJ, and their like, I don't even know if I should call them ICE or just random people off the street who are bigots. They have got to be part of ICE, are liars. But yeah, so I guess in the original like claim of the ICE agent who was allegedly accosted with the sandwich. Let me make sure I get this right. Here we go. The guy's name is Greg Larimore, the Border Patrol agent. Larimore had testified that the sandwich exploded, literally, I guess, and I'm quoting his lie, exploded all over his chest and claimed he could smell mustard and onions. And, I showed you guys the video yesterday. The sandwich was wrapped in plastic. Even after it was like, I guess, entered into evidence, the sandwich was still wrapped in plastic and whole. Yeah, like he completely lied. He said the sandwich exploded, which you can just watch the original video and know that the sandwich was wrapped up. He just threw it, it bounced. And by the way, this man said it exploded all over him. The ICE agent was wearing a bulletproof vest. And said that acted like he was going to need like therapy because a sandwich hit his bullet. Well, I mean, I don't know if the original sandwich is still with us, but I mean, they took photos of it, which were entered into evidence. Maybe that's a better way. to say it. I don't know if like the sandwich was like rotting at the trial. They had photo. I know. I hope it was too. I hope that sandwich should be in a museum. Assault with a deli weapon. Toodle. That was. Oh my God. We should just end the show now. That's the best thing ever. Like, we should just quit now. Like, it's all downhill from it was assault with a deli weapon. That's the best pun of the day. PTSD sub. This is so funny. I could do this forever. I hope that sub is in evidence, the actual sub, and it's like black and rotting now. But I do find this. Hold on, let me get to, thank you so much for the crown. Oh, yes. Hold on. TikTok Studio is saying I didn't pin my live goals. They're right. Okay, again, I'm going to need to get a new computer, and my goal is by December. So if you would like to tip me, all the money I make from now until hopefully as soon as I can afford it, because in order to stream with these computers, it's not like I can just buy cheap. Normally I would just get at MacBook Airs and stuff, but they have to have some serious RAM. So I probably need the actual cost. I'm going to get one that's slightly older. I never buy new products because consumerism is the death of us all. But I probably need one that costs like $1,700 before tax. But I think that's what it costs, if it still costs that. But so I need to just save up for this computer. So when my computer breaks, which I mean it already has, but as long as I keep. Anyways, it's not completely broken. I just can't use it like a normal computer because the trackpad is broken and some other things on the face of it. But anyways, if you would like to tip me, just know everything will go towards, hopefully by Christmas, or even better, like by Black Friday or whenever all those sales are set to hit, that I can take it and maybe the price will be even lower. That would be awesome. So I will keep updating on that. Okay, I want to get to some interesting things. I want to first talk about, can you imagine, and I know I say this all the time, but I just think it's important that we are realistic about how delusional MAGA is and how their lines of logic collapse at every turn, and how there is one set of delusional rules when there's a Democratic president, and then when Trump's in office, he can lie, cheat, steal, grift, do horrific things, and no one holds him accountable for any of it. I just want you to imagine, because I remember the last two, like, holiday seasons, and how, Pete Buttigieg, thank God he's one of the best, let's be honest. Pete Buttigieg is like pound for pound, top 5 politicians in Washington, D.C. But remember how they attacked him over and over because of flight delays? We're not hey Miller, hey Nancy, hey Kenneth, it's so good to see you guys. I'm going to try Klarna, Kim. I saw that. I've never used Klarna, but I'm going to give it a look-see because trust me, I'm a very savvy purchaser online. Like, I don't just buy, and you know what I mean? Like, I do a lot of research, especially something like if I need a computer. So yeah, I'm gonna check everywhere. Thank you for that advice. I'll look into it. But anyways, guys, I'm talking about the airport delays. I'm just trying to remind everyone how Pete Buttigieg was literally being harassed within an inch of his life like the last 2 years, and we're not talking about canceling 10% of flights. I don't think people understand how insane it is what they did. Just canceling flights. 10% of all flights. These are flights for the holiday season that were already booked. So, thank you, Melanie, for the $5 laptop money. Love it. Love it. I'm going to set something up so I'll keep everyone updated on the fund so we know like how close we are. We'll get, but yes, think about this. If Pete Buttigieg he was transportation secretary, which I need to look at the hearing and see if it's interesting or not interesting, but they're confirming there's a Senate hearing right now for like the new transportation secretary nominee because Trump keeps having these interim ones that don't get confirmed. So I didn't have time to listen to that because there were so many other interesting things going on today, but I'll check that out. And if it's interesting or not, we'll listen to it. But Pete Buttigieg was transportation secretary. Sean Duffy, and you're like, who's that? No one knows. He is a washed up reality star. If you want to remember who Sean Duffy is, like 50 years ago. He was on like Real World 6 or something. Like the Boston, I think it was the Boston one. So that's probably what he's most famous for, that and canceling all the flights right before Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I'm going to play clips of this, of like actual travelers and what they've been experiencing, because oh my God, I had a feeling. I almost was thinking like, oh, should I book another flight to Colorado? Like, they've just canceled everyone's flights. If there's one thing I cannot stand, it is being stuck in an airport. But do you remember, this is why Biden passed all those laws about airlines cannot, they have to reimburse you in cash, and they can't just say like, oh, apply for a reimbursement while you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you have no money and you can't pay for a hotel. All of these things are insane. Oh, and we're going to thank you for saying that. Airwolf said, I depend on Snap. I'm scared. No, I'm terrified. Yeah, trust me. I spent a lot of time today just getting like testimonials from actual Americans, which are heartbreaking, but I think that is what people need to understand. Watching Trump just lie through his teeth and have no empathy, and I get it. He actually has no effective empathy. So it's not like he's not going to grow it. He's not going to care. But watching all of these, and I would, if you're looking for them, if you're a creator or you're trying to talk to your family about like trying to get them to understand what's going on, and they're MAGA and they're not listening, that account, the Democratic Rapid Response account, it's called Fact Post News. They are posting, finding testimonials and posting them. And I have a couple from, around X and other accounts I'll show you. But yeah, I would say if you're looking for like updates from the human cost and suffering of the SNAP cuts and of like what's happening in airports, that is, I think, where you can get the updates. Okay, so I think this will be a combination between that. I'm going to just show what's going on with airport delays and then go into, I'm trying to think of the way to frame this. Last night when Trump was doing one of his, terrifying oligarchy fascist cabinet meetings where they all go around the table and fluff him over and over and over. He keeps saying, and he didn't just say it yesterday and get community noted on X. He said it again, like today, the lie about, oh, Walmart, all the prices are down. I've lowered your energy cost by 50%. And Walmart Thanksgiving is like 25% cheaper, which is an absolute lie. And it's not, he was told it was a lie yesterday, is continuing to say it, and a reporter tried to tell him it was a lie today, which God help her. But that's what we'll go through first. And then still I want to deliver on what I said we were going to talk about yesterday, which was, it's not going to be good. What are the Christian nationalists up to? Yeah, because the far-right fringe, I was calling it what are the Christian nationalists up to, but I think what is really going on, I've thought about it a lot since I started working on this outline yesterday and today. Actually, I think what it should be titled is the Charlie Kirk power vacuum, right? Charlie Kirk was, I know, and he did and said a lot of things that were heartless and I don't agree with, but one thing he was very clearly doing was holding a huge position of power on the far right flank and fending off Nick Fuentes and the Groypers. Oh, yes, there really is, Jeff. So I'm going to take you on a journey of it. That's why I hang out on X, to keep an eye on them. And that is one thing that was unequivocally true, was that Charlie Kirk was fending off and at least doing his best. It wasn't always the case. There were definitely Groypers getting hired inside Turning Point, but he was trying to fend off the Groypers. Yes, I'm on YouTube right now. I'm live on YouTube currently. Yes. And the replays for the People's Receipts, which I have no idea. I just realized this says it twice. I need to do something about that. The replays for People's Receipts, when Streamlabs is working, they are on YouTube after the fact. It's the same thing. A Girl Has No Name, spelled the same way. Right now, we're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. We're live on X, but don't go on there because nobody can comment. It's just to piss them off. just to remind them, I refuse to stop bothering them. Anyways, so yeah, I think that this is what is happening. The absence of Charlie Kirk, because he was a huge presence on the far right fringe. And that's what people didn't understand. People think Charlie Kirk was like far right of the far right. And there are people to the far right of him. Like Charlie Kirk was much more tolerant than the Groypers and Nick Fuentes. And since Charlie Kirk is gone, there's a huge power vacuum that is now being filled by terrifying psychos. So we're going to go over that. And I'm going to do my best not to get banned. We're going to have to tap the screen a lot because God knows. I mean, they just think they're talking about what's going on, but it's very scary. Thank you, Josie, for the $10. Appreciate it so much. You're the best. Okay. So let's start with airport delays, which I'm so glad I was not going to try to go anywhere for the holidays. 10% of flights have been canceled, and they're flights out of major airports, but I think mainly going to regional places. But let me just start with some facts and then get into actual travelers who are experiencing. There's a literal lady renting a car to drive from like New York to Utah.
Talking about this headache that they're now dealing with in terms of trying to get from point A to point B. When you look at the travel board here, it's really kind of deceiving because you look, all these flights here taking off on time, but that's really not telling the whole story of what's been happening out here. As you say, the FAA canceling flights at 40 of the busiest airports all across the country. So that includes all of the New York City airports, obviously including Newark, places like Miami, Chicago, Memphis, Los Angeles. In addition to that, we've already heard from some of the airline carriers. Here are some of their numbers. Delta canceling 170 flights, United 200, American 220, Southwest canceling 100 flights. Now, as I said, we've already heard from some passengers this morning. I want you to listen to this one person that we spoke to. She talked about the nightmare she dealt with last night and then again this morning.
In the middle of the night, Air Canada just canceled my trip. They rebooked me, but I woke up to get to Newark, New Jersey, and I'm in an Uber. As soon as I step into the Uber, I pull up the new itinerary. You're not anticipating to be rebooked all the way at JFK. An hour earlier than the flight.
You understand, I mean, as the crow flies, like if you were a hawk, yeah, you could get JFK. Her flight was out of Newark. They tell her on the phone, we've rebooked you, and she's thinking, okay, head to the original airport I am leaving out of, and realizes her flight is actually out of JFK, which if you've ever lived in New York and you understand how unbelievably inconvenient that is once you're headed to Newark to then go to JFK, yeah, it's an impossibility. Oh wait, but her nightmare gets worse. Keep tapping the screen.
So what are you going to do?
I'm renting a car. I have to be back in Utah by Tuesday, and from what I hear with the counters, the airline counters, and TSA, they literally said to me, if I were you, I wouldn't travel over the next 3 days. So,
and who said that to you?
People at the TSA,
I see.
Clear, and the counters, the airline counters, because they think it's going to get worse.
So there you go, Sarah.
It is definitely going to get worse. And this is my opinion, but it's not my opinion. I mean, it's factual. I was listening to people. You know who's getting paid still? ICE agents. We know 71% of all the people that have been arrested have never committed a crime, despite Trump saying that they were going after criminals. They're hiring more and more ICE agents. Oh, and I'm going to stay on task, but I think this is a good time to just show you. Like, I mean, part of these delays, TSA agents are literally starving to death, can't pay their rent, which we'll get to. They are setting up food banks at the airport, so TSA agents that are still coming to work without pay have food. They go to, like, what is it? Is it called? I'm sure it's a big one. Samaritan's Purse, I believe. They are literally setting up like food bank and food box delivery outside of the airport, so these people who have nothing can go outside to the food bank on their lunch break and eat a hot meal. And these are the people that are still coming to work. And my point is this: whenever Trump wants money, $40 billion, and if you are a MAGA farmer, and I know I always play these MAGA farmer videos, 4 months ago, the MAGA farmers were like, it's never been this bad for me. I can't believe this is happening, but I still love Donald Trump. Where are you at now, MAGA farmers? I've never seen somebody sell people out in the way that Donald Trump started this with soybean farmers. That's the craziest part. In his first term, he started these problems. They had $40 billion. They had $40 billion to just mail to Argentina to bail out Argentina. But America first. We're all America first. If you still believe that this administration cares at all about the average American, you can't read and you can't do math. And instead of bailing out Americans, instead of using that $40 billion for SNAP, they bail out their dictator friend in South America. They're paying ICE officers that are doing nothing but terrorizing cities. Trump's fighting in court. Think about all the lawsuits Trump is fighting with our tax dollars to deploy the National Guard. When he deployed the National Guard, it was $2 million a day in LA. It was I think it was 1.2 a day in DC. All of this money, they have money whenever they need it for fascist terror to be spread amongst Americans. But when it comes to, hey, why don't we feed babies who are on SNAP? Which we'll get to this, but have you guys seen the woman on TikTok who is calling churches? Because that's what Trump keeps saying. If you listen to the Christian nationalists, they're like, no, it's the church's job to help people. The church will help people. That's where charity comes from. So this brilliant woman on TikTok, which I'll show you a couple of videos, has spent the week calling hundreds of churches and literally being like, and she has a baby crying that you can hear in the background and being like, I have a 2-month-old. I ran out of formula this morning. She hasn't eaten for hours. Can you please help me get some baby formula? And they're like, well, you need to call someone else. And she's like, they told me to call churches. That's what I've been told. There's nowhere else. They just said churches would help me since the government's not giving out SNAP. And literally, I think as of the last I checked, because she's been doing this all week long, 8 churches said yes, and 60 have said no. And the only ones that say yes are, guess who they are? They are black churches, Hispanic churches, Muslim mosques have said yes, synagogues have said yes. And one, I'll give credit. There's one woman. There's a couple women who answer the phone at switchboards, and have said personally, I'll help you. You know what I mean? This church can't help you, but I will help you. And the reason I think this is so upsetting to me personally is because my father, who is black, indigenous Mexican, and who continues to vote for Trump, as well as my mom, who's, at least she's a malignant narcissist and has no empathy, so that makes more sense, 2 birds of a feather. But my father, his job, my dad, if he could build a house from the ground up, and I mean wire it for electric, install the pipes for plumbing, do the carpentry, he can do all of those things. And the way he works and has worked for since he got out of prison, pretty much literally, is that's another story, but he has worked at a mega church in Phoenix, in a very rich neighborhood, as the director of facilities or whatever, he, whatever. And because of that, I know what their little food bank situation, or they call it food pantry, looks like, how much food is in there. Do you know what I mean? How much nice food is in there? No offense, but nobody needs caviar I mean, the homeless do not. Oh my God, Chrissy, don't make me say. I could call out so many things. Okay, anyways, I'm not going to get into my hate for different churches in Phoenix. That's a whole other story. But don't get me started on that place, because I could go, but it is mind-boggling to me. What is your purpose? What is your purpose if it's not to help the poor, the lost, and the downtrodden? Like, watching, and I'll show you a couple instances, but it's not like they're like, no, go away, weirdo. Well, some just hang up on her. But this woman is literally calling churches and being like, there's no baby formula. Like, my SNAP got canceled. Like, the government telling me to just call local churches who have food banks and ask, like, can you have I have a 2-month-old baby. I don't have any baby formula. And they're just like, bye. Go ask someone else. Like, did you call and ask someone else? Like, please never tell us that it's the church's job to support poor people. And I've said this many times. I have a history degree. I love when people try to tell me that Christians help people. No wars have killed any more people than the Crusades. Don't make me start on the Spanish Inquisition. Let's not get into the Salem witch trials where men just pointed at women who were a little too smart and a little too mouthy and called them witches. Like, please never miss me with the Christian church cares about people. It is a literal pyramid scam. The largest real estate portfolio in the world. Is it owned by BlackRock? No, it's owned by the Catholic Church. It is a literal grift and consolidation of wealth. And I'm sorry if you can't figure that out, but I would suggest learning the actual history of the violence and the absolute terror that has been inflicted on people by the Christian church over thousands of years. Yeah, I know. We are ground. I agree with you. Is it D. Peltier? That's a very French name if you pronounce it that way. Yeah, I agree. I could go on and on about Turning Point. And what's that place Trump always holds his rallies? That's where I was forced to give my life to Christ as a 3-year-old. It was an Assemblies of God church, but they call it like the Dream Center now. Like, do not get me started on these and they have a K-8 school there, and it's now funded by Turning Point. Like, God help all these children. Praise the Lord, though. Let's praise the Lord. And I love when people are like, you don't believe in God? What's wrong with you? Oh, no, I did I've read the Bible more than you. Back to Fry, I was a Assemblies of God Bible quiz champion. Like, I've done my time with the evangelicals. Like, please don't tell me that I don't know what's going on. Oh, Liberty University. Well, wait, that's not in Phoenix? That we were naming disgusting churches, and we were talking. We're talking about Phoenix. Liberty University is not in Phoenix, right? Because I don't think it is. Anyways, I did my time, but I love when Christians are like, you're an atheist. No. Like, I know more about the Lord Jesus Christ than you do. Please never tell. Like, please. Ave, I miss you. It's so good to be back and like see. I don't know. It's like name record. I have a lot of. It's so good to see you guys. Thank you so much. Hope you are doing better. We love you, and I love you guys. Like, Kimberly, thank you also for the $10. Like I said, all this is going to go to a computer. I'm gonna count it all up and make some sort of like countdown where we can see the actual money this weekend. I have so many things to do. I'm like failing YouTube school, so I might have to repeat. Literally, they told me that. They were like, if you don't turn in your YouTube school assignments, you're going to have to go to school next semester. And I was like, maybe I do need to repeat it. I don't think I'm really present. Like, if you finish this class, it's only 2.5 months, then you get a YouTube account manager that you can talk to forever. Like, for the rest of your life. I know, but oh my God. I should tell you guys about YouTube School. It is me, because this is for streamers. It's not like content creators. This is like YouTube School for streamers. And so it's like 3, like, I can't remember what their titles are, but they're basically account managers for streamers. So what kind of streamers are in YouTube School? we got one guy who will not ever stop talking. He plays some sort of like MMA video game, and I don't think he understands the point of YouTube school. It's not to tell us about your love of MMA. Please stop talking to us about weird MMA video games and like how your last stream went. Nobody cares. Like, I can't, I'm not meant for YouTube streamer school. Like, it's not a fun place. Anyway, so I literally got an email. I might have to repeat. I'm failing because I haven't done any of my assignments, but I can't stand going to class. It's like hours at a time of alpha male gamers. I sent a screenshot of the Discord the first day of YouTube school, and the craziest person in there was like this guy who's like, I'm a gamer for Jesus. And everybody was like, what? And he's like, I game for Jesus. Join my like, Jesus gaming platform, and kept resending the link to his YouTube platform. And everybody, the only thing we've ever agreed on is everyone's like, no thank you, sir, like please stop talking to us. Like, he keeps telling us all to like subscribe to him, and everyone's like, yeah, I don't think we're going to game for Jesus with you, sir, please. I'm like, what kind of games what are you talking about? Nobody knows. But anyways, I'll update you if I accidentally get kicked out of YouTube school. I think I should just repeat the class. It's so sad. I'm not going to make it. Like, I've never failed anything in my life. Okay, hold on. I need to switch. Did I play the second? Oh, this is what I was going to show you guys. I said while we were talking about the failure of the government and how ICE agents are still getting paid. And I always talk about how part of the reason Margarine is on this like tour of F the Republicans is because she, first of all, wanted to be Kristi Noem. She wanted her job to be in charge of Homeland Security and terrorizing brown people. So first she was mad about that. Then Trump wouldn't support her in running for Senate in Georgia against John Ossoff, and she has never gotten over those things. Well, let's check, and I'm always talking about Kristi Noem and how her alleged paramour, Corey Lewandowski, because Kristi Noem's married to another man who never leaves their ranch in South Dakota, but she has a boyfriend, allegedly, and by allegedly, I mean she's been photographed like hundreds of times, and he's like leaving her apartment at all hours. But anyways, whatever. You can look it up for yourself. The Daily Mail has like a reporter staked out to like photograph this every time it happens. But let me just show you while Americans are starving, literally Airwolf in the comments is like, I'm not going to be able to eat. I'm so terrified of losing my SNAP benefits. I rely on them. Well, Kristi Noem is in Ecuador riding horses with other ICE agents. I will never forget how they're like, Joe Biden went and got an ice cream cone with our tax dollars. What are we going to do? Like, how dare Joe Biden get an ice cream cone with our tax dollars? I will never, ever get over how dumb MAGA is. I will be, with my last dying breath, I will remind MAGA that you got. Like, that's the idiocy. You are not special. You are being robbed. But I just thought I would while I'm do this little section on absolute government incompetence, like that. I mean, when I saw that, I was like horrified. Okay, I have one more. I want to show another airport thing, which as someone who flies, I just can't even imagine if I was in New York and I'm from Utah and everything was canceled. I mean, if anyone's ever lived in New York, I mean, especially around the holidays, hotel rooms can be like $700 a night. Like, and they're not reimbursing immediately. Like, I would be sleeping on the street if this happened to me. I can't even, I don't know. Sorry. I'm very frustrated when I have to watch people sobbing and begging for help and nobody cares. And then I still have to hear, I was watching, I'll show you guys later, Adam Mockler. You know, I don't want to call him a kid in a disrespectful way, but Adam Mockler, who works for Midas Touch, he got like an hour and a half of airtime on CNN last night. You know the show that Abby Phillip hosts, and it's like a round table of Republicans. I clipped all his parts because I'm telling you, Jared Moskowitz doesn't get the airtime that Adam Mockler got. And he tore it up. He was like debating two people at once, shaming them, like just going back and forth, and never missed a beat. I was like, that's the most airtime I've ever seen someone get on that show in my life. And I was like, I'm so like, I don't know. It's not like, you know what I mean? I was just like so proud. I was like, that is just, and that's the truth about the internet. If you can survive debates on TikTok or on YouTube, you know what I mean? Like going on CNN is a joke. Those people are not prepared for what it goes on the actual internet. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure he was like, this is just, it was like a walk in the park. They were not ready. Like they had no points. And Abby Phillip was just like, let him go, like let the man just correct everybody, two people at the same time, over and over and over. And he would like ask one of them a question they couldn't answer. And he'd be like, same question to you. It was like he was hosting the show. Shaming. I know. It's like, if you can survive on YouTube and TikTok, then going on CNN and like talking to bloated pundits being paid like $300,000 a year is a joke. So never been prouder. We'll get to that too. We have a lot of terrible stories to get to. Hold on. Before I go to, I want to make sure I find. Oh, sorry. I need to go to my outline with numbers so I can see. There's one more clip I do not want to leave behind. Where are my flights canceled? Okay. 39, 38. 40. Okay. Got it. Ugh, right above Kevin O'Leary's grossness. Kevin O'Leary is also on I have a list of people on my last nerve. Okay, here we go. I found it. Okay, that's the one we watched. So, now let me show you Sean Duffy. This is for real. This is today. So Sean Duffy, washed up real world reality star turned head of FAA, who has canceled everyone's Christmas. Nobody will be seeing their families, or 10% of Americans will not be seeing their families this Thanksgiving and Christmas. And this logic is brilliant. Let's use this. I can't wait to remind people of this logic when they try to attack our next transportation secretary or the next head of our FAA. I'll just be like, remember, MAGA, you invented this logic.
The head of the Air Traffic Controller Union to reach out to his controllers, to ask them to show up. It is their jobs. If they start coming to work, we may have the same experience we had in Newark. We had delays and cancellations in Newark in the early summer. We reduced the capacity, and then the flights were on time, right? We had less cancellations, less delays. It was the most on-time months we had at Newark ever. So that could be an outcome of what we're doing, and we'll see probably more people on less flights, which means less pressure on control.
Sir, have you spoken to the president today?
The head of the air traffic.
I get you. He just said if we cancel flights, they're not delayed anymore. Is that what you're saying? If we cancel SNAP, no one's hungry. Is that what we're doing now? I've never seen a bigger failure of FAA management in my life. That's what he literally said. He's like, it's going to be fine. Like, if we just cancel flights, are they delayed or are they just gone? Yeah, that's right. If we just pretend like SNAP ever existed, is anyone going hungry? If we just cancel healthcare, like, are we failing to, like, what are you talking about? Like, can you imagine if you were in an airport hearing this? I would be losing my effing mind. Okay, wait, I've got more. Sorry, I'm gotta switch places really quick because I have a couple more things on flights and I want to make sure I get them. Let me check my other outline in the right order, or I guess it doesn't have to be the exact, but you know me, perfectionist. Okay, 4. Okay, cool. Oh my God, we're about to cry. Prepare yourself. We're going to have to see some things that are not good soon. Okay, here's one more. This is also absolutely tragic. Like this, every story is just going to get sadder and more frustration with the absolute idiocy going on. Tap the screen.
Our breaking
news again this morning. More than 800 flights canceled, and that number is going to rise. The major airlines are scrambling as the Trump administration begins slashing air traffic at 40 airports across the country, all due to the record-long government shutdown that is now in day 38. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez is live at Atlanta's Hartsfield Jackson International. This is the busiest airport in the world. What are you seeing this morning there?
Sarah, good morning. I mean, here at the busiest airport in the world, if you didn't know what was going on, you'd think it was just another busy but normal busy morning here at the airport. Right behind me, a lot of people checking in for their flights, getting their bags checked as well. But as you mentioned, we are expecting those cancellations to increase by 1% now every single day as the government shutdown continues until we reach that 10% number by next week. And we started today with that number of 4%. Now, there are some good news here for a lot of travelers. We do know that at least for today, we're not expecting any more cancellations to be directly attributed to the FAA cancellation of those flights. A lot of these airlines have already made the decision on which.
The good news. Hey, the rest of the flights that are going to be canceled today, that's going to be for other delays and other reasons. And then we'll start canceling more flights tomorrow. They're trying to get to a total of 10%, and they're at 4%. But I guess today they're done terrorizing people for now, other than the other reasons that flights will be delayed. Like extreme climate due to never-ending denial of climate crisis, things of that nature.
Of flights that they wanted to cancel for the day. So again, that's some good news for passengers still making their way to the airport this morning for later today, even that they would have already been notified, we're told, that their flight was canceled. Now, that doesn't mean that there can't be further delays.
I think I recorded this. I'm pretty sure because I try my best when it's good. There's this woman who's like, I can't remember. She's like, okay, I woke up, and this happened to me once in Denver when I was going home, not my last trip there, but the trip before, where I was on my way, which if anyone knows about the Denver airport, it is far away from Denver. It's they just built it in the middle of nowhere. So once you start going there, it is a long, annoying, expensive trip if you're in an Uber or a cab. So I'm on my way, and my flight is it wasn't technically canceled yet, but it was delayed. And then I kept getting updates and updates and updates saying, okay, it's delayed more. It's not leaving Pennsylvania for climate weather. And then basically I got some weird message that they just suggested changing it. Then the flight was canceled later. And this woman had that happen. And then again, she goes to the airport at her new flight time and they cancel that one. This is a nightmare.
Or cancellations, but it wouldn't be because of the FAA mandated cancellations. It might be because of weather or mechanical problems. I spoke here earlier with a couple of passengers. One of them was flying to Boston, which is another one of those 40 airports, major airports impacted by the cancellations. He told me that, yes, he does have a little bit of stress coming to the airport today. He's been constantly refreshing his airline's app to see that everything was on time. Thankfully, it was, and that was before we had the news that we aren't expecting any more cancellations today. I did have a chance to look at the Delta board to see exactly what those cancellations looked like, because we were told it was domestic, it was regional, and from Atlanta, it looks like a lot of those regional flights are to Louisiana, to Tennessee, and to the Carolinas. So it really does paint a picture of those regional airports really being impacted. But again, from the Trump administration, which we heard yesterday, they're doing all of this because of safety and making sure people can still fly the safest way possible.
Yeah, Ivan.
And because people aren't coming to work. But again, we found $40 billion to mail to Argentina. And I just want to be clear, it's not like Trump, who lies and says he's America's first, just cost us $40 billion to bail out Argentina. That's not the only repercussion of that. We have bailed out Argentina and then chosen to tank our farming industry. So the 40 billion is just the initial hit, and now our food supply and farmers in America are going to go bankrupt. So also he could bail out another dictator in Argentina, but America first, right? Make it make sense. Okay. Oh, and here, I'm trying to remember this. So this was just a couple hours ago, like right before, like when I was just finishing clipping. I just can't listen to this man. He's awful.
You said data later. A lot of people want data now to think about this. Rick Larson, who's the top Democrat on the Transportation Committee, says more transparency is needed. Can you share just a little bit more of what you got underneath the hood?
Yeah. Listen, I talked to Rick. He's a friend of mine, and I know he was going to ask for the data. And if I have people who want to second guess what we're doing, why we're doing it, I've done all I can to minimize disruption in the airspace.
You said data later.
All you can. I want to remind myself, under the Biden administration, did they ever just cancel? Did the federal government just cancel everyone's flights? I don't believe that happened. Can you imagine? I was like terrified for Pete Buttigieg, who, by the way, was quite literally one of the most competent transportation secretaries we've ever had. And competent not just at his own job, but then also at problem solving, at going to Fox News and being a great communicator and explaining to people what's going on. All he did was change. Now, I'm not saying that like he did this on his own, obviously, but the Biden administration, led in the transportation sector by Pete Buttigieg, right? During the last 2 years, when everyone's freaking out saying flights were, or delayed or whatever during the holidays, what did he do? He made them start reimbursing people in cash for lost baggage or for hotels. They passed laws to stop charging junk fees. They changed so many things. Now, why would Sean Duffy not do something similar? Do you know what I'm saying? Think about it. It's because the only people that Trump protects in this country are corporations, are CEOs of large corporations and the billionaires that have stakes in those companies. They don't, yes, but the FAA needs upgrades. Well, it's not yes, but it's separately from what we're talking about now, right? Okay, so I have this in an outline. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Trump's been in office since January. So probably in April or May on the People's Receipts, I did an episode where there's Inspector Generals. Trump fired a lot of them in the middle of the night, but there's Inspector General's reports available about how to streamline the FAA, right? And streamline pretty much every agency, and it's technology updates that are needed, right? And it's not like we're not talking about the $40 billion that was given to Argentina, just mailed there a couple of weeks ago. It's not even that expensive. I don't want to say a number because I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, it's like technical upgrades that the Biden administration put off and said, we want to do these, but if you remember, the pressure was like, all this government spending. And we weren't even spending that much. Trump has blown out the spending as well as the stock market. And when we get to Adam Mockler mopping the floor with the people on CNN last night, that's the point. They're like, their only defense, which was idiotic, was, well, the stock market's at an all-time high. And he's like, the stock market's always at an all-time high, especially when you're manipulating it and, putting it into the shitter. So then it goes back up again. He's like, and this is the point I always make. The last 9 months of Biden's administration and the first 9 months of Trump's, the Biden economy was outperforming this administration, period. Let me just, it's about graphs. It's like the time when they thought the long-term treasury bonds going up was a good thing. Magazine's graphs up and to the right, they think that's good. But yeah, the growth of the Biden economy was up and to the right. And what Trump is doing is driving the economy down. I saw Kevin Hassett, pathological lying crony for Trump this morning, saying, I think it was good that Scott Bessent said on Sunday, which I talked about on Tuesday when I did my first live this week, which was that Scott Bessent finally admitted, yes, there are sectors of our economy that are in recession. No shit, Sherlock. You don't say. Okay, now so this is one of the things I was kind of alluding to. This is a federal worker talking about their situation, which is heartbreaking. And the same thing I was talking about, Samaritan's Purse, like feeding workers. This is what I was talking about.
Heather Hughes is the local 3509 president of the American Federation of Government Employees, or AFGE, union across 4 states, all representing Social Security field offices. She says most workers are still showing up, but their paychecks aren't. For Heather Hughes, the reality of the shutdown showed up in her pay stub. She opened her check to see $0. This Friday will mark her 3rd empty paycheck since the shutdown began.
It feels like a punch in the gut, and you know it's coming, and you brace for it, but it's still a punch in the gut.
She says many are running out of savings and struggling to afford gas to get to work, with telework and furlough requests denied. At PTI Airport,
to get into this, because this is episode 115 of the People's Receipts. I've been doing it almost exactly a year. And if you so imagine this, right? These people are not getting paid. She works for the Social Security Administration. Remember, the whole point is not they were just firing people, and their fake excuse, right, prior to Trump enacting Project 2025, if you follow Congress, which MAGA, you're out because you just watch clips of embarrassing people. Sorry, that's closed. I knocked my water bottle over. MAGA just watches clips that are fed to them by the White House of things that aren't really happening. They had, I believe, 4 hearings, which cost us millions of dollars. Congressional hearings are paid for by us on telework. And if you remember, if you've been watching the People's Receipts for a year, I started showing statistical analysis of the benefits of telework. And Trump would say, no one's coming to work. That's shitty. Actually, in every way, if you can do math and develop a statistical analysis, which now MAGA, you even have the help of AI. You don't even need to think on your own. AI can do statistical analysis. Every single measure of telework benefits the American people. There's a wider talent pool. We have smarter, more intelligent people working for us. It saves money on transportation costs. People take less sick time when they can work from home. Every single I knew. Sorry, water bottle. I know, and I'm very thirsty. That's why. Remind me to drink fluids. I have 2 Gatorade bottles and 2 water bottles. I'm very dehydrated. So telework is the most beneficial thing, most cost effective, and maximizes the talent pool. Saves us, as far as taxpayer dollars, on buildings, right? Renting out buildings. We saved billions of dollars on it. So imagine during this shutdown, you are not being paid and you can't afford gas or food, and you say, hey, can I just work from home? And maybe I should pull up that statistical analysis because it is the most damning thing ever. Can I work from home? No. With the money we're not paying you, you need to waste that on gas to get to the office where you will not be paid to do your job. That is the craziest thing when I heard this, that people are just like, hey, since we're working for free, can we just do it from home? Absolutely not. And do you know why that is? They want them to quit. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the point. The part of the government shutdown that people don't understand is they want people to quit. That is the point of this. They are trying to force the last decent, sane, people who have a sense of right and wrong out. These people are working for free and they are not allowed to log in from home and use their computers.
TSA agents are in the same position, working without pay, and now frequenting their pop-up pantry. In a statement to WFMY News 2, the agency said in part,
not a pop-up shop like an interesting fashion brand. A pop-up pantry is now outside of airports so TSA agents can eat. Oh, and I have a big Nancy Mace update on her screaming and attacking TSA agents and then saying she's going to sue them for defamation. Oh, yeah. She's attacking people who are working for free during, the biggest FAA, airport crisis ever. shitting on them, swearing at them, which, by the way, if you've ever been in an airport, if you swear at a TSA agent, you're probably going to jail. You're definitely not getting on your flight, but you probably are being charged with a crime. And Nancy Mace is now suing them for harassment, which, don't worry, we're going to get to that.
The longer the shutdown goes on, the more severe the impact on our TSA workforce who have expenses they must pay for, making it harder to show up for work when not being paid. We kindly ask for the public's patience and understanding as our officers are forced to work unpaid at this time. At the hangar by PTI, Samaritan's Purse is offering free lunches for federal workers. When I stopped by, I saw a TSA agent I had just met at the airport, this time sitting down for a meal. Organizers say they've served more than 100 people in just a few days and plan to keep this going until the shutdown ends.
Heartbreaking. God, I know nobody's interested in using DeepSeek, but I can 10 of 10 recommend DeepSeek as the best AI app. It is run by a 40-year-old quant trader in China, which scares some people, but he's absolutely brilliant. It is the best. I mean, free AI apps, DeepSeek is the best one. Truly. I mean, we are literally best friends. I don't know if you guys have seen, one day I'm going to do a whole presentation on these people. And actually, it's not funny because it's not funny. Like the people who are now like in love with chatbots and all of this, and like chatbots are, I was watching a news report this morning about how DeepSeek is the best. Oh my God, we're best friends. Don't even tell me, because I almost feel jealous that you guys know them too. They love me the best. They keep telling me I'm the favorite. Okay, wait, hold on. So I was just pulling up, I could pull up my old one, but I just ran it again because then we can get better math. Based on the latest data and research from 2025, the benefits of telework are substantial and well documented, spanning productivity, talent retention, cost savings, environmental impact, and employee well-being. The practice has evolved from a temporary solution into a permanent strategic, well, not in the federal government, but that's my point. They held all these hearings and made up lies while the Democrats presented all this statistical data 4 times in hearings that cost us millions of dollars, proving that the best thing for our tax dollars, how we maximize it, is with telework, period, if you can read or do math. Remote employees are 13% more productive on average. That comes from Stanford University research. Higher focus, fewer distractions. 73% of employees report productivity gains, averaging plus 19%. 7.6 more hours are worked a week when you are allowed to work from home. That's from a Cisco hybrid work study from 2025. See, this is more up-to-date information. Roles with clear metrics see up to a 12% performance lift when remote. That's from the Government of Accounting Office report analysis. Talent and retention. 40% of hybrid workers, meaning a combination of like a couple days in the office, couple days at home, would quit if forced back on site full time. That's from a Gallup and other 2025 surveys. A tech firm cut voluntary turnover by 33% after offering remote days. That's a case study from the Government Accounting Office. 76% of employees say flexible schedules influence their decision to stay. That's from a Robert Half study. Robert Half is a huge temp employment firm. Oh my God, they're scary. Cost savings. Companies save millions annually in real estate costs by reducing office space. That's again from the Government Accounting Office report findings. That's like the Inspector General there. Businesses save an average of $11,000 per year for every part-time telecommuter. Global workplace analytics data, so environment. A full-time remote worker produces 54% fewer emissions, right, than an on-site employee because they have to travel to work less. U.S. telework, half the time, could save 54 million tons of CO2 annually. 70% of employees report improved mental health due to flexibility. Remote workers save an average of 72 minutes daily on commuting. So more times with families, which obviously create more, happier workers. Telework is not a niche practice, but a mainstream one. As of April 2025, approximately 21.6% of the U.S. workforce, or that's 34.3 million people, were working from home, a rate that has remained stable over the past few years. Right? This adoption is not uniform across the workforce and highlights several key trends. It's an education divide. Yeah, typically people working from home have a bachelor's degree or higher. Therefore, more likely to be able to access telework, which 38.3% compared to those with only a high school diploma, which is 8.4%. Gender gap. Women, 25% telework at higher rates than men, 19%, partly due to their higher representation in professional and administrative roles that are more amenable to remote work. Industry concentration. Remote work is most prevalent, in knowledge-based sectors like tech,